Why are there more than like 3 people talking at once? Like
Because that's how
nobody
it
can
works in Discord.
understand you. Nobody can understand it.
Yeah, but that what happens. If you have like 15 people in a voice channel, that happens.
That's why right
Well,
when the
I
meeting begins,
know.
we're gonna mute everyone.
Oh my,
Yeah.
please don't mute me. I'm amazing.
I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and that still gets on my nerves, even though I know that it just sort of happens.
I don't care. I just scream louder.
Because
Being on Discord, that's actually something you're gonna have to get used to. So
everyone wants to try and contribute to the conversation, if you notice, in one way or another. So
as nice as it would be to have one person talking at a time, it's not gonna happen all the time.
everyone has something to
Every
say.
time
gonna
I
try.
like claim territory. What the fuck? I still can't fly. Whenever I
thanks for
claim
interrupting me.
territory or stuff, it doesn't work. I can't fly. Or do faction shit. Can't fly.
Hey, no swearing. That's a level 3 swear word right there.
Excuse me. Level 3? I don't think you know your levels. I bet you don't know your chunk scale.
What is a chunk?
You don't know the chunk scale?
What's a chunk?
It's not what. That's not how it works. It's a scale.
What is a chunk?
A chunk isn't a
No.
thing. It's the chunk scale. It measures chunk.
Chunk with an O?
Yes, wait a minute. Let me find the image. It's sitting on my desktop.
I think I've seen it.
But for a second I thought you were talking about Minecraft chunks.
Minecraft
No,
chunk?
not the chunk. The chunk.
You cannot. All right, so I'm in the home right now. And
Where the
apparently
heck is this
someone
image?
here in the home is an enemy. Oh, it's one of the cool Timmy. It's one of the Timmys.
Wait, what about Timmy?
Since I'm like in like 32 blocks of one of the Timmys, I can't teleport home. And I'm in the home, I'm in the hub right now.
We're still enemied with Timmy. Here's chunk scale.
I think.
Hat.
Let me look. FF. No, it must be someone else then. I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna just do this now.
Chunk scale.
Guys, how do you do the messaging system in here?
In what?
Well, how
in
you?
Minecraft.
just
Like,
press
how do
T.
you? Is it /message?
Or slash MSG, and then you should be able
Yeah.
to do it. Slash MSG.
Like if you want to talk to one person or something.
And
I
how
don't know.
is there a command for replying quickly?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Ever since, for like a second, you were able to hit tab and then like be able to like enter someone's name. Now you can't. Now I want to like jump off a bridge because.
Thank you all for attending. Thank you.
Yeah, it seems like message completion is off.
Yeah, that's.
It is,
trash.
yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's bad.
If I may get everyone to mute themselves for this part, thank you. If you please, this is a document for our 4th community assembly. I think it's the 4th. It might be the 3rd. Anyways, we have with us today. I'll let you get ready, kitten.
Okay, I am which section? Okay, there you go. I'm ready.
We have Aaron, Accumulate, Big Mac Davis, Bollocks, Scarlet. Should I just call you Coconut?
No, you can call me Scarlet.
Alright, Scarlet. We have Frag, Hayden,
That's me.
Jeremy Hills, Nick, Not Luke, Quote, Sonic Limits, and Sunfish Pal. I will update the excused list after the assembly. So for today's introduction, I do have something that's a little serious, and I think I need to get it out. And it's a little speech, and it's just basically a lot of things. So what we're going to first talk about is first the work we've already done. We have established a 23 or 22,000 Discord member count, and we've only started about 3 weeks ago. I would say 4 weeks ago, and I think we're on a really good track. We've already established CS:GO tournaments. We have about 93 signatures, participants. I've worked on the Gary's Mod server Cinema. We've had 15 players watching a Charlie and Chaplin movie about 2 days ago. We have had some fun on the SCP server. And now we've worked and released on Peatcraft server. And a lot of you here are already moderators, and thank you for spending your time on the server. We've reached at max 75 players on the server at once, and we've had a total of 150 max concurrent. Sorry, not max concurrent. 150 unique players that have been on the server. Our max for the server itself is about 300, 100 for the lobby server, and do 100 for the faction server. And our partner that is, so Peatcraft is part of the network of OmegaLol.org, and they have set up the server for us, and I've worked with them directly to ensure that all Pete's logos and links are all in there, as well as Peatcraft.net being a direct IP link. I think that's good, and I'm gonna add appeals and bug reports for an email address for anyone who wishes to be an admin on the server. But I think we're currently good on staff. Nonetheless, I will be working on an official Peatcraft sign up sheet for the Minecraft server. Also, we have around, I would say, 50 staff from advocate to admin on the Discord, and that is, let me get my calculator out. That's a ratio of 22,000 members. 22,000 members divided by 50 is 1 to 440. And while that seems like a lot, the amount of good content, the deletion of not safe for work content and messages in the Discord has been quite well and very efficient. And I think that's great. So thank you all for helping out to serve Pete and to volunteer. And that's what makes us a good team. So continuing on the work, specifically for my part of the deal. The advocate staff forms, we've looked it over for today, about 2 hours, an hour before the staff meeting. And me bollocksed, I think John, as well as Big Mac Davis and others have chipped in on which candidates have been the most successful. And we've chosen about five advocates that will be most likely accepted. And I'll discuss who they are right after this whole speech. Also, as well, the staff handbook. I'll be working on both a staff handbook for the Discord, as well as a Peatcraft specific handbook. But it's apparent that if you're going to be staff on the Peatcraft server, you're most likely going to be a staff member on our Discord to first and foremost concentrate the I would say the community engagement. This is why I don't think we'll have a Peatcraft specific Discord. We do have a Peatcraft subreddit, but I think we're going to use that as our forums and then have the Peatcraft subreddit link directly to Voice Over Pete. I think we need to have at least things that divert our attention to Pete, and I think a lot of things should be centralized. So as of currently, the staff on the Peatcraft Minecraft server are currently moderators and or staff or even advocate. They were picked if you volunteered and as well if you are mature. So thank you for volunteering. And I'll be continuing to work on my Peatcraft server, and it will be a great project. We have reached 167 ranking on a Minecraft actually on 4 Minecraft voting websites. 167 already on the second. I would say the last time I checked was the first day. So on the first day of launch, we have reached 167th on the world's ladder, and I think that's pretty wonderful. I think that is pretty great for a first day. I think that is quite amazing. Thank you. Nextly, let me get something out real quick. Thank you. I want to clarify some of my standards so that it's said and done. And I think I think we need to make a clear standard of what I or the admin team specifically looks for in a staff member. I think that we should obviously set a good standard so that people know what to work on and how to improve themselves to be recognized truly and to be promoted of course. So, behavior. I think behavior is one of the biggest thing that you can do. Online, we don't look at you face to face. We can't hold your hand. We can't hug it out. All we have online is what you say, text, or voice. That's all we have. And even if you give a phone number to someone or you FaceTime them, we don't have physical contact. We can't physically lash out or physically compliment. All we have is the bond and mutual friendship that we have online. Respect, mutual respect, being ethical, as well as treating others the way you should be treated is the most important thing they look for in a staff member. Mutual respect. Behaviors.
The fuck doesn't mean?
John, hello?
What?
Okay, alright. So anyways, I also want to make sure that negative behaviors like egotism, hypocrisy, as well as general immaturity, that everyone makes sure that they aren't showing these behaviors. As staff members, you are from advocate to moderator, representing Pete's finest. If you're trusted with powers to kick or ban, or even to mute or move people from channels, you have power over someone else, and you are entrusted to not abuse or use it to get for personal gain. Thus, your behavior and how you are presented to others is paramount to how ultimately Voice over Pete himself is viewed. Mannerisms, mindsets, and many others, like mannerisms as in being wholesome in private or public. Mindsets as in keeping things objective and not subjective. And let me explain what that means. Being objective means you don't have personal feelings in the matter, even if it's a personal matter. Being subjective means treating a situation with feelings, and to an extent, taking it personally. If you're a staff member from advocate to admin, you should always treat situations, no matter personal, professional, or for, let's say, someone Mike spams. You should always treat them and the situation at hand objectively, not subjectively, at all times. We cannot risk being yet another Discord server that has a staff team that cannot function with each other, looks or acts in actuality dysfunctional or be in any way have any infighting. We should be instead advocates against types of behaviors like egotism. We should be advocates against being unwholesome. We should be advocates against other discords that do not have weekly staff meetings, that do not have organized CSGO tournaments, that do not have any kind of improvements, yet they persist on doing things the same way and never improving. And that is the definition of stagnation. I try my best to always improve, and if I make a mistake, I will recognize it. And I think that my mentality hopefully will be an inspiration to you, to everyone else, that you should always self-improve, recognize where you make mistakes, and always try to improve on your faults. By leading as an example, I hope that any admin on the team, they should always, first and foremost, be a leader. If they're not leaders, then I don't think that it's a suitable position. Because first and foremost, as an admin, as the top of the leader, you have to lead by example, to be respectful to your staff members, as well as to each other, and to be wholesome as the first and foremost directive from the Mad Titan Pete himself. Wholesome at all times, if possible. This doesn't mean that if someone is harassing you, I was muted, sorry. If someone is harassing you and you have to act unwholesomely because they have to be muted or banned, you should still be respectful, mutually respectful, and say, I don't want to mute you, but you're doing this and that is against the rules. This ties in with the objective to be objective. Our objective to be objective. I'm speaking really slow so that I can at least show that this is a very serious speech. I want to be funny and friendly at all times, but I think it's time that we have a good talk about what our standards should be. Thank you. The next thing I want to talk about is why we should look and perform and dedicate ourselves to be on this team. Let me first preface this by saying everyone here is a volunteer. Even if you're compensated by recognition, if you're recognized by Pete, you're still a volunteer unless you're on his payroll. And this means that you're free to leave at any time. You're free to take on whatever you need necessary in real life. If you have college, if you have a math final coming up, tell us, and we will understand, because myself, I am a college student with a math final coming up, and I will understand. As Big Daddy Ivan just stated about 10 minutes ago, he has his friend over. I understand. You can hang out with your friends. Just tell us. That's all. And if you're stressed, like an example here, Lucifer, he was, I believe, for the most part, he was a good moderator. And he took the initiative and the courage to say, I've had enough. And he said that he was going to leave. I think that is honorable of him to do. And I think that if you are indeed stressed, and if you have any kind of worries about how your real life situation may affect how you may volunteer, or if volunteering itself has an effect on your real life, because it is stressful. I don't think anyone's going to say that it's not stressful. I manage around 5 Discord communities as well as multiple subreddits. And this I do for fun. I honestly manage Discords and communities with a spirit of honor and no conflict of interest in mind, with the intention, first and foremost, to have fun. This does not mean it's not never stressful. It's always stressful. The reason I have do not disturb on Discord all the time is because almost every minute I get about 5 DMs. And I try my best to respond to each one. And obviously it's taking a toll on me. It's obviously stressful. But this is very important to note, that if you are ever stressed out by volunteering in real life at a food bank, at a clothing store, or even, obviously on Discord, you need to find good coping mechanisms. And you need to ensure that you need to be careful about how much energy you put into projects. I think, I will admit, I have put in a lot of passion of Voice of Repeat into this project. I spent hours, and I assume people like John, Nick, Quote, Frag, they all put in hours per day to improve the community. And I'm gonna wrap this up because I know it's getting a little long, but those hours, just make sure that you cope and make sure that you have a good method, because stress will get to you. Now, I want to talk about something that is a little private, and I think, however, in the spirit of transparency, and that we should have a team that is honest, that we should talk about anything that happens that is a negative incident. I'm not going to name names unless the person wants to be identified. But there was an argument around 2 days ago, and I think that it was a mostly reasonable argument. There were anger and frustration involved, but I think that ultimately, in the end, we agreed to disagree. And how we can learn from this incident without telling you who was involved or what it was is that we need to be careful of how we present ourselves to each other, and most importantly to the public. I think that no one can disagree that your online presence is very hard to amend. And what I mean by amend is that if you have a tarnished reputation, it is very hard to get rid of it. Instead, you must recognize that sometimes you make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The best way to deal with criticism, even if you believe it not to be true, is to recognize that others may think it's a valid criticism, irregardless of if it's true to your opinion or not. And say, sorry, I recognize that you have a concern, and I will do my best to correct it. And another thing that we can learn from this incident that I will not name is that first and foremost, infighting cannot be tolerated. I think that if there's any incidents where there is infighting, we should be able to handle it like adults and handle it privately. I think we need to be very careful about how each and every one of us presents ourselves to each other and to the public. If you act immaturely, act hypocritical, egotistical, or in general, be an unwholesome person and be negative, I think that is an absolute incorrect mentality to come forth when you're talking or interacting with your fellow team members. And I say this not only the person in question, but also to myself. I will ensure and improve on what the incident has taught me, and hopefully the person in question. Now, the next person was, how we can learn. I wanted to expand on specifically what each staff rank on our Discord should mean and what their responsibilities should be. For admins, as I stated, I think they should be leaders. It doesn't mean that they should be talking all the time or doing things all the time. It just means that they should be setting a good standard, the gold standard for other staff members. It can be as simple as stepping in when a moderator is stressed and telling them, "Hey, I'm here for you. If you're stressed out, I can come. You can come talk to me." Or doing extracurricular activities, such as going on the Discord, talking to some friends, on some random people on the Discord, and saying, "Hey, my name is blank 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 admin, and I'm here. If you have any questions, come talk to me. I'm here for you. If you have a problem with your trigonometry homework, use Google, not me. But if you have a problem with anyone on this Discord, talk to me instead. I will help you, just not trigonometry." I don't think that admins should be all serious all the time either. I'm being serious right now, but I think it's probably the first time I have actually been this much serious. And I'm being serious because it's a very serious issue. And I think that everyone should be clear on the standards. So that said, admins, 3 things: leadership, leading by example, and being extracurricular. Admins are basically moderators, yet they're higher, and they have a much bigger leadership role. They set the standards and say what is right and what is wrong. And therefore, it's important that we in the admin team get along and to help and root out any kind of drama. Thank you. For moderators, as I've stated, admins are basically lower admins. I started out as a moderator, and I simply worked really hard, and I told Pete, "Hey, I'd like to help a lot more, hold a lot more meetings, set more standards, write some hand guides, make some wholesome memes." That's what I stated. And Pete gave me the opportunity to serve as an admin. To every moderator in this channel and to the ones that are not present, first and foremost, you are also a leader. You lead the staff roles, you lead the advocates. And let me say this for the sake of transparency as well. The admin team currently views advocate as a trial staff role, staff as a trial moderator role, and ultimately moderator as almost a trial admin role. I think that every one of you from Sunfish Pal, Sonic Limits, Quote, Not Luke, Nick, Jeremy Hills, Hazelnut, Frag, Scarlet, Big Mac Davis, Accumulate, and Aaron have the opportunity and the possibility and hopefully the dedication necessary to be one day an admin of the Voice Over Pete Discord. And let me preface what I mean by this great honor. I think that if we continue this path of slow growth, and if we remain a very wholesome and professional group of team members, in the future, community management, I think, of Discord's gaming communities in general, without me sounding too neckbeardy, can be applied as a background experience in a real job. You see on esports Twitch channels, community management is a very vital role and skill in any kind of online community nowadays. You can be a communications major. That might make you be able to talk positively and know how to speak. But I think community management is a skill that someone accumulates, and I think might be a college degree. And I think if you work hard, you can use your skills on being patient, on being wholesome, as well as knowing how to deal with stressful situations, like the incident I have previously mentioned. If you know how to cope with stress, if you know how to cope with countless DMs from subpar, sub-preteen members, basically knowing how to deal with the most immature audience on the internet, I think, and I honestly think, you will have earned a very, very vital role and vital skill for life. I'm almost done. Let me move on to staff. I think it's important that I also give an explanation on why staff and advocate exist and how they coexist and how they're different. Staff, I believe, are able to kick. I don't think ban. They're able to move. They have a lot more permissions than advocate. As I stated, advocate is a trial position for staff, but it's not a worthless position, nor is it a powerless. It is a very important and nonetheless appreciated position. Thank you for being an advocate, everyone. Hazelnut, Nick, and others. Thank you. Staff set a standard for advocates, as moderators set a standard for staff, and as admin set a standard for moderators. If you're a staff member, you have to be much more professional and much more dedicated as advocates. And I'm not saying you should dedicate hours and hours. I'm saying that on basis of what we expect from advocates, the role of staff is actually a little much harder than advocate. In terms of actually putting a number to what I'm saying, I would expect advocates to put at least 30 minutes to 2 hours per day, just casually browsing and helping out. Staff, maybe 1 to 3 hours casually. I'm not saying sit at the desk and look and comb through everything. No, just on your phone on total. I personally spend 9 hours to 10 hours on my phone on Discord, and it's iPhone's screen time thing, iOS update, and I think that's probably very obsessive and too much, but that's just a standard. Moderators, I would assume 2 to 5 hours, and I'm trying to be as wide range as possible. If you just put in 2 hours a day, that's good, I guess, as a moderator. As an admin, I can't really say there's a specific hour, but for admins, I think there should be a specific time limit of how much time you can actually spend per day. Not that you should spend that time every single day on how and whenever you are called to work. Not work, but called to duty. Like someone is infighting going on within moderators, you should be able to come in and have time to handle it. And lastly, I'm going to finish this up really quick. I'm so sorry. Advocates, as a trial staff member, I think they are basically super users. And that is not a bad thing. It's because you still remain the authenticity of a non-staff role. However, being able to actually help out. They're mega users. You still have the grassroots experience and experience of a user, and you have the power to act when you can. And I think that's ultimately good. And thank you for being an advocate. I'm going to finish this up. Thank you all for listening. Right now, I'm going to move on to the next thing on the agenda. Before I do, if you have any concerns regarding any staff member, their conduct, or what they do, I think that you should first and foremost contact them directly and tell them and ask them privately, not public. Never make infighting incidents or anything, even constructive criticism. Please do it in private and ask them that you've noticed these things and they could improve. If they fail to recognize it, then you can escalate it by talking to me or another admin. I think that the other admins probably wouldn't want their inboxes filled with drama, so I'll be willing to take the responsibility for that. So if you have drama to come forward, and as long as you talk to the person directly and privately, and it has gone nowhere, then I will welcome you with open arms and be a neutral mediator, and I'll be very objective. Thank you for listening. We're now going to move on to the next of the administrators. Let me just check my DMs real quick. As you can see, I don't check my DMs when I'm doing a meeting. Please excuse me. Thank you. I just checked the admin chat real quick. If let's see, let's go down the list of admins. Administrator John, do you have anything to say?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Andy. My mic didn't pick it up.
He asked if you had anything to say.
No, not too much. Like last time, as I said, if the servers reached a huge peak, but of course we're always willing to bring about more team members. And I really like the way Andy opened it up, although it was a bit long. He definitely just went over everything that I've been feeling. So overall, good work at the moment. I haven't heard too many complaints. Some people in my DMs, but it's been quite slow as opposed to when it first started, and I like where we've reached. And it's insane. Keep it up. Hope to see more of you on the moderation team in the future. That's all.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and go John gang.
Let's go John gang, yeah. Alright, Administrator Garrett, do you have anything to say?
You know, it's a little hard to say anything after that big whole delivery. So there's not really much that's on my mind anymore. I think you kind of covered everything. So I guess that's that.
Alright, thank you, Administrator Bollocks. Thank you, Accumulate. Oh, he's not in here? Alright.
Bollocks is not here.
Alright, I'll
Why
ping
did
him.
Bolts leave?
I'll ping him in the staff assembly if he has anything to say.
I wonder what happened to Boxed.
He probably just vanished.
That's unfortunate. Alright.
It is. Yep. Totally
He ate one
unfortunate.
too many potatoes.
Alright, well, I'm sure that Bollocks is here with us in spirit. Thank you. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna try to wrap this up because I think I took way too long. But I hope that my speech could actually inspire you and give you an idea of what's been going on. I think that infighting is honestly the worst thing. And to see it happen publicly when I wanted it private, I had to say something. I couldn't sleep for the past 2 days. because of what happened, and I'm not gonna expose who the person was, but I honestly had to do something about it. So there you go. So for business of the body, 12 section point 2.1 staff training. I will work on the staff training guides for Petecraft as well as a Discord. 1 second. Hey Siri, turn it down. Hey Siri, turn it down. There you go. I'm sorry about that. I like to have classical music just in case there's like a loud garbage truck outside my car, outside my house, because that tends to happen in meetings. Anyways, so staff training guide. I'm gonna work on it today. Hopefully, I have a lot of things on my plate, but I'll try to tackle it on one by one, as you should with everything in life. I tend to be a good multitasker, but I'm more like I have a control panel of different things and different communities, and I can press it one button at a time. But I do tend to get them done, and I think that's a good mentality to have to tackle with multitasking in life. So that's that for the general for the unfinished business section. So we're gonna work on 1.12.2.2 new staff members and systems. Let me get the results of the assembly. Sorry, the form, not the assembly. Thank you, Accumulate. Yeah, I mean it's very stressful being any kind of admin on any server, especially it's 22. But if there's drama or infighting, it just gets too much for stress-wise, at least. So I think we should never have any kind of that incident happening again. Anyways, let's see. So we've had, I think, let's see. We've had about 5 responses that were good. Let me copy and paste them real quick. Thank you, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and remove their emails before I post them. That one's cut out because that's more than 2,000 characters. Also redact. That's actually the longest response we've gotten. I think it's about 4,000 characters, which is very nice and very epic. No, not 4,000 characters per se. 4,000 words, which is wow. So before I continue, Garrett and John, are you there?
Yes.
Will you be available for a little conference call after the assembly?
I'm sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I trust you guys not to obviously. I mean, it's only an email, and I think that if you actually like spread emails around, I don't think you should be a staff, let alone I'll be on loud on Discord. So just keep that in mind. Sorry about that. I haven't had any sleep, so I'm just running on caffeine. I think that's it. Those are my picks, and I think those are gonna be the people that accepted. So let me get the total number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, right? Yeah, that's 6. So we'll have 6 new advocates, and I'm gonna go ahead and add them, and hopefully they can get on. I'm just gonna go through and copy and paste their Discord IDs. That's all either. All right, getting the last guy real quick.
I mean, we all know Scarlet's a girl. Oh. Oh boy. New advocates. Wow.
All right, that's it. Thank you. We're gonna continue. 1 second. I think I have a fever coming up, so I'm gonna go and wrap this up. So the next thing is the general orders, and that is Petecraft discussion for today. Instead of just doing a whole discussion, I think we'll just do, if you have any questions, just make a PTS and type your question. Please type PTS and the question you want answered. So, new game modes will be available, most likely a survival and Skyblocks by probably next month or next 2 months. We have to have a persistent and dedicated player base, and I think they'll probably have that soon. Also, yes, want a Sprite Camry? Very cool, very cool. What color is my hat? It's yellow. Very cool. Lava and water. It has been fixed. So if you what's the word? If you want to make cobblestone, you can. It works now. It's been re-enabled. Thank you. We'll be allowed to engage, with the community via competition. Yeah, of course. The CS:GO tournament, that was like a little like small. It was a way for us to see the test of waters and see how, if we're gonna have a good amount of people that can play tournaments. And as we've just seen, we have 93 signups for a 50-player CS:GO tournament, and I think that's a good number. And we'll probably see a lot better numbers very soon. I want to thank and welcome and congratulate Panos, the Wonder Child, and Yumsen on becoming advocates. Thank you for waiting. You guys have passed the test, and your applications out of, I would say, about 50 have been pretty much the best. And we only picked 10% out of that, which is 5 people. So, congratulations. And I think the last question, which is not Luke. There's going to be PTSs. There's going to be weekly and monthly events, drop parties. We might have a spleef event, a lot more things. So, congratulations to the new advocates. It's gonna be a pleasure working with you guys. If you have any questions, ask me, or a moderator, or a staff, or anyone for that matter. We're gonna have a handbook for you guys written up very quick. Thank you. We're gonna skip the event council for now because we have already talked about the events, and move on to the staff promotions. And we're gonna go ahead and talk about the promotions really quick. One moment. I'm probably as tired as you guys are, so let's just
So,
get it over with. Who should we promote?
who should we promote? We talking about staff or mods?
Yeah, just any, to be honest.
What? Sorry.
I
Very
think
good.
we
Let's just
should
get this over
promote.
with real quick. And
I think we should promote AccuMemeLate to moderator
I agree.
because he's really consistent with like he always has been since like the server kind of came up. He's always been in touch with me, being helpful.
All right, so
I think we could also maybe make Sonic Limits a moderator. Though I still have to ask him if he wants to become one because, again, he's my real life friend. He's very.
if you trust
well,
him, I trust him, man.
all right, he says it's up to me, so let's go ahead and do it.
All right, very cool. How about anyone else? Maybe I think not Luke to staff. I think he's been good. Not Luke.
Check the staff now. Members, staff.
Not Luke and Nick.
Luke and Nick.
I don't know myself, but if you trust it, then I think. I mean, I trust your judgment.
They're both advocates going up to staff.
Right. So.
Do we have
not
any
Luke
other
and Nick.
promotions?
Oh yeah, I think not Luke and Nick. Yeah, I see these guys in there a lot.
All right. Also, before we go back, obviously the reason why I want to talk to you guys after was since Pete's available, I think we should nip in the bud regarding Bollocks. Just get the fucking thing over with. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm fucking tired of just fucking worrying about him.
he's way
It's
too
eating
much.
up. It's literally eating up me inside.
Did you see what he said in the administrations? Not really an assembly, more a 30-minute one-sided lecture.
I don't know
I
why you
think
guys
that's
so mad
fucking
about it.
stupid. If he can do better, then he should go ahead and talk.
Should have talked when he had a chance. He does not want to feel his voice for some reason, which
He's
is
just
kind
like
of
a liability, and I don't really want to deal with.
He
the
has
odds, which are
over a
pretty good.
dozen hate threads, and I've sent it to his son. Voiceover Pete's son. I know that because I don't want to, keep on fucking bringing this up because it makes me look like a stupid, whiny little asshole that wants someone demoted, right? And I don't want to seem like that. But I've already contacted his son, so that I avoid just keep telling Pete that we need to get rid of Bollocks because I think that is very unprofessional. So I'm gonna hopefully have, if today doesn't work, then hopefully Pete's PJ can help. He's gonna help mediate the whole thing. He has all the evidence and all the Reddit threads.
That's a relief. Yeah, it's better that you tell it to him because I feel like he'll be able to handle the situation.
So if we are to do this, I have to be asking you guys this. If we do it, we have to not. We can't hold back. When I had that whole conversation a few days ago, I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm gonna be honest to you guys, and I hope you're honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little bit disappointed that I wasn't supported. Okay, I'm gonna say sorry to John because I called him twice, and I shouldn't have done that. I was a little emotional, but I'm gonna be honest and say I felt a little bad, and I just couldn't sleep because of how Bollocks can damage Pete, and I don't want that. I don't think anyone wants that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone else is waiting. So if everyone is in agreement that when we talk to Pete today, that you will not hold back.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I won't really hold back, but I probably won't have much to say like you do.
I know what I'm gonna say in my points. Darby, I think you're gonna cover, your album that you mentioned before, with all this stuff in there. I just want to talk about myself, like the amount of danger he kind of puts the server in because of his tendencies and how I don't think it's even worth risking it.
Well, to be honest, I joined the admin team because John wanted him gone, and I was gonna help him. But now it's kind of flipped, and now I want him gone probably more than John. That's kind of funny, but all right, John. I guess I'll take that as yes. I'll just take that as yes, even though you probably don't have much to say. Let's go back, and so the promotions for today were accumulate to moderator. Did you say Sonic Limits, John?
Yeah, I already moderated him on accident before I did that.
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that's bad, but it takes away like his like moment of shine. You know, never mind. It's all good. Let's just go back. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Yes, I found this screenshot. Wait, no, this was when I was staff, not when. Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. We've decided. Sorry for taking a little long. I think that the cat's kind of out of the bag. I think John wants to announce this one, if you want.
Well, I'm in. You did it. You've reached 500,000 subscribers. Anyways, you're a moderator now.
We did it.
500,000?
Yeah, that's right. I'm in. You reached 500,000. That's why you're a moderator. Yep.
So guys, we did it. We've reached 250,000 subscribers.
Congrats, gamer. Everyone in Wakanda will be proud.
That's an epic.
You are Wakandans.
That was pretty good.
Wow, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Congrats, everyone on the Earth is subscribed to you. Good job.
Congratulations, Sonic. You earned it, and I hope that you'll do a great job, and I know that you will because we trust you. Thank you. Press S for Sonic Limits, please. Thank you. Come on, that's weak. Come on. The fuck? If I was made moderator and I saw this weak ass shit, I would be like, fuck this. I'm trying to get a little more mean and less serious, as you can tell.
This looks like a Twitch chat.
Stop. Actually.
Thank you, we're done. Thank you.
Alright,
Thank you. So the next person, I think maybe Garrett wants to do it.
Yeah. Accumulate. Definitely gonna promote you to moderator because you've been very helpful throughout, like, actually for a very long time in the server. You've been here for a while and you've consistently helped me and other staff, so I think you should be promoted to moderator because I know you have good intentions. So
He's level 34 in this server, and that's something to be proud of. He's the number one on the leaderboard out of 20,000
Level 34
people.
equals life. If you don't have a life, then you're like level 1. But if you are level 34, that means you have a life.
I knew this day would come. I've been waiting for it because he's been very active and very you can see he's very dedicated to the server and to the community. Congrats.
Let's get an A for accumulate. Let's go.
Why,
oh my
dude?
god,
Really?
those how you
What's
pulled.
streaming, yeah.
All right, we're good. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're good. And now I want to introduce two promotions for advocates to staff.
Ooh.
And we've picked, first and foremost, this person's name starts with an N. And it ends with a letter. And they worked really hard. And they really help out a lot. And they also have attended, I think, every single staff meeting, which is good. At least 2, from my memory. Serves me right. Without further ado, welcome to the staff team, not Luke. Congrats. Please type N once. Thank you. Also, I'm not gonna leave out the other guy that also has his name starts with an N. And that is, of course, a person that is a very epic person. and he's really worked on I think the game servers and helped me out a lot and helped the community and ultimately basically. So without further ado, Nick, welcome to the staff team.
Can I get a yeet eat baguette in chat?
Let's get a yeet.
Just say yes, yes, bread.
No.
I believe that this is an epic win.
Does Diamond Torstubber count as armor?
you just got promoted, staff, and this is the first thing you ask. All right.
Okay, I think we're done. For closing statements, I'm just gonna go ahead and just briefly state what I've talked about in my speech. Just the bullet points. And what I've stated today, and I hope that you will remember and keep to heart, is the work we've already done in establishing this Discord, the 22,000 members. What myself, the admin team, as well as the entire staff team will do. What the admin team ultimately looks for in a staff team, someone who doesn't have negative attitudes towards other people, someone who's positive, someone who is wholesome first and foremost, and can and will handle criticism in a very professional manner and be respectful ultimately. And also why we should also dedicate ourselves to the cause of Voice Over Pete, and that also we are indeed volunteers. If you're stressed, go take a break. Just tell us, we'll understand. We're all volunteers. And also, with the incident that recently happened, what I've said about how we can learn from it, how we should behave, specifically from admin to moderators to staff and advocates, what their roles are and what they're responsible for, and as well as an important life matter, life skill, getting past differences and not being hypocritical, and recognizing your faults and being respectful. And then lastly, but not last, PeteCraft, that we're going to make staff applications. If you're a moderator, and you have a previous staffing experience that you can show me, I will go ahead and ensure that you will have a good chance to be staff. I say that because we currently already have a good amount of staff, and I'll be honest. So there you go. And then the community-wise for PeteCraft as well as the team members. Thank you. That's all I have to say. If anyone else, if John or Garrett has anything to say, you may. Also, Secretary Scarlett, if you want to say anything, go ahead.
Congratulations. You've done it. You've reached a higher role. Now, don't fuck up, because I will get on you if you do.
Okay, John.
Congratulations, everyone. You have made it to a higher role. Please claim your role at the register.
Garrett?
What John said.
Without further ado, we'll go ahead and take PTSs just for us. Anyone, if you have a question about anything, just go and ask. Type PTS in the question you want answered. Sorry, excuse me, sneeze. Will you 5 me a hug? I'll give you a hug. Whoa, Scarlett. Thank you, very cool. That was really unexpected of you, but I'm glad that you're red-pilled and epic. I assume that's probably your friend or something. Or you're being... I don't know, what the heck. Any other PTSs? Also, let me just say this for the sake of saying it. During staff assemblies, and if it's not in a public manner, I encourage freedom of speech. But as long as it's not something that's like a serious offensive thing, or you're harassing someone, okay, I think we already deal with having to decide what is politically incorrect and if we should delete it on the public channels. And I don't think we should enforce those rules on ourselves, because that just makes it a lot more stressful. I think we have enough stress on making the public ones wholesome and family friendly. So as long as you guys can behave yourself, and I trust you guys to, on at least on a basic level as staff, to behave yourself, I think we can have freedom of speech. Thank you. PTS. Thank you. What are you guys' sites for the server? Well, to be honest with you, we've already done so much, and I'm obviously getting a little exhausted, but I think my exhaustion is paying off. We have a very active PCRAT server. Let me get on it right. Let me just click on this button real quick. We have 25 players on it right now, and all we've done is advertise it once on our Discord. And it has 25 players, and it's active. 25 players from a one single Discord announcement. One ping that. And I think that's quite amazing. 25 doesn't sound like big, but it's very big if 25 people stay. And they've stayed for about 8 hours. I've checked. The last time I checked was 8 hours, and it was 25 then. Now it's still 25. So obviously people came and go, but we have a stable base at 20 to 25. That's wonderful. And also, I think I digress too much into Minecraft. The ultimate goals, I think we can be something that is a huge mega community. Focus on one leader, one chairman, one admin team, one moderator team, one staff team, one advocate team that manages obviously the PCraft server, but also hosts Fortnite tournaments, scrims, meetups. We can do a lot of things. And so much. Thank you. And I'm also going to say, Scarlet, I'm glad that you're getting your stress out. I think it's very important to loosen up sometimes. So, thank you. That was a really weird thing to say, but thank you. Will there be a channel for affiliated servers in the future? We'll see. We'll probably partnership. I mean, we have an affiliated server right now, but it's obviously our server, quote unquote. But it's part of a network. OmegaLol.org is our network, and PCraft is its own server, right? It is its own server, and but it's gonna have other YouTubers on this OmegaLol network, and we're gonna have a whole collection. While we have the faction server, let's say the Rad Brad makes a server on here, and they will be Skyblock or something, and it'll be a whole network. I think that works out well, and the server, the state of it's at right now, is pretty good. So we'll probably keep on it. I'm gonna give a shout out to Commander Yum Yums, Sofino, and Schmeep. They are the development team, as well as myself and Pete. They're working really hard for the Minecraft server, so thank you. I'm gonna take 3 more PTSs. How much love can one person hold? Maybe. I don't know. I think I tend to love as much as possible. But obviously everyone has limits. Google Doc, yeah, there you go. Sonic Limits, oh yeah. Subscribe to the Sonic Limits YouTube channel and go and join the Limits gang. Oh yeah. Anyways, welcome Handi. You're not in the voice channel, so whatever. Alright. Will you marry me? I mean, I don't know how you look like. I mean, I do voiceovers. I already do voiceovers. I did a children's book. I think I talked about it, but I did a children's book for a truck. I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Sorry, Quote. You probably have to go, right? So I'll wrap this up. I did a truck, and I got paid $40, and it was like, the fire truck makes this noise, and it's deployed from your local precinct. It goes this blah blah. I can't do it right now. My voice is dead. But yeah, thank you. I'm gonna take one more PTS. Psycho mode, let's go. A new schedule. Okay, Megalink. You know, I've seen your messages regarding, you know, the incompatibility of the meetings, and I'm gonna say this, and I recognize that you have a job, and that other people cannot make it. So I'm not gonna ignore you. I'm gonna recognize that you can't meet the times don't work for you. So tell me a time that does work. And also, can you please tell me what the time zone that you live in is, so that we can, because it was originally Bollocks that wanted the Sunday 2 p.m. meetings because it worked for him. I think that's what I recall. And I seeing that he was European, and I'm in America, it obviously, you know, 2 p.m. If Australians can get on, I think. I would say most of the other great European staff can get on. I'm waiting on Megalink's answer real quick. Yeah, and Fred, you live in Australia, right? So I assume that it does work out. No, not Australia. England. Okay. I see. Very cool. Gotta get a cuppa. Oh yeah, and some scones. Anyways, well, okay. So Megalink, I have to wrap this up. So please tell me a time zone and days that you would like to see. Thank you all for coming to the staff meeting. It was a little long, on 90 minutes, but you know, take it from me. I don't do it especially long. It hurts to talk for so long, for an hour and a half consistently. So it does hurt. So don't worry about that. I appreciate everyone that stayed, and thank you. I hope that my speech can resonate within you, and hopefully you take my criticisms and my tips into account. Thank you. The meeting is hereby adjourned at 6:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you, gamers.
All right, gamers. Roll out.
Who wants
Roll
to spread
out.
cranberry?
Roll out.
I'm gonna move to Steph Hangout for the after party if anyone wants to join.
There's no after.
There is now.
Oh, now there is.
Get back here. Wait,
Hello?
how'd I get here? I went staffing.
Alright, what's up? So, are we...
Now what? I need to work my project.
John,
What?
it's a Sunday
Yeah.
at 5 p.m. for you.
Uh-huh.
You could lose an hour of sleep, bro.
What do you mean? I don't comprehend.
RB, props to you for setting that whole thing up. Jesus.